Hi.
Hello,
You
friend.
doing,
How are you?
Natasha?
I am great, Miss Ellie Shama.
I love that you say my whole name. You say I'm so proper.
Look, I love it. I'm like, give me all my syllables when people say my name. Don't shorten
Right?
my name. Give it all to me. So that's what I do for other people.
That's how I know when somebody sees me as important. And if I see them as important, then I make sure they know how to say it. Because whether they know I'm important or not, they will know.
Mhm. Exactly.
Um, okay, so today I am changing up the topics a little bit. We had a few topics in mind, but something came up that I feel that you are the perfect person to have this discussion with.
Okay.
And okay, so my whole point of these interviews is to help people gain perspective on how to live your retirement life now, how to live in your thankfulness and your what's the word for thankfulness? How to live in that gratefulness and
Gratitude.
gratitude. Thank you. See?
Mhm.
Um, but okay, the topic is it's easy to do that when everything is happy-go-lucky. How do we do how do we do that when things are, gray or, have us questioning things? Um, because I'm gonna tell you where this is coming from, and I'm only gonna tell you because it's gonna be a while before this goes out.
Okay.
So I sent you pictures of me during this pregnancy and how big I am, right?
Mhm.
And I went to the doctor's my first appointment yesterday, and I thought I was further along you know, than I thought. And I figured even if I wasn't further along, like the worst that could happen is that I just means I've been eating too much, right? Um, but you always have these positive thoughts. Well, at least me, I live in the dreamland. So my brain is always like, okay, what if it's this? What if it's twins? What if I'm this big because, maybe I'm further along? What if I'm this big because I have two babies? It never for once thought like I didn't want to even think about the negative part. Okay. And there may not even be a negative. So I got there and he checked me and he said, you're going to have to come back in a week because either you're not as far along as you think you are, or that pretty much this is a miscarriage. He said, but we won't know for a week. And so my first thought was like, keep that shit to yourself. Just say come back in a week. I
Mhm.
don't need to be thinking these like,
Mhm.
and then
Yeah.
he's like, because of your age, you're 37, you're in a risk because you're older. And I'm thinking to myself, motherfucker, 37 ain't that old. Who the fuck are you? Like, you know,
Um.
so when I left there, he really had me like fucked up.
Mhm.
Because one, he had me thinking about my age. I never in my life thought that 37 was old. Like, I don't even feel mature enough to be 37. Okay, let's start with that. And then secondly, is like I know as a doctor that your whole job is to inform me, but I specifically told him, I said, listen, I don't need to know all the rest of that stuff. Just tell me come back in a week because I'm one of those, I'm trying to tell him who I am as his customer, right? I don't want to be dwelling on this for a whole week and then I cause a miscarriage. You get what
Mhm.
I mean?
Yep.
And even though scientific people don't think that you could cause something, I believe that the mind is stronger than the body and we can't cause good or bad to ourselves based on how we think.
Yeah.
And so I've been going through therapy too. And in therapy, she's like, the first thing that we do when we're reactionaries is that we start scrambling. Well, that's one of the symptoms. You start scrambling, calling people, talking to people. And now you have all this chaos inside. So I didn't call nobody. I
Mhm.
was just like, okay. And my husband was telling me, he's like, that's why I didn't want to tell nobody. And I looked at the notes from the doctors. He said, you about, if this is, he said, it could be just a normal pregnancy, like there's nothing for you to really worry about. Just come back in a week. But you just gave me all of this shit to fucking worry about. Like, you
Yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, so girl, I cried because,
Mm-hmm.
in my mind, like you fucked me up, one, with the age, and two, like you tell me I could be experiencing another miscarriage. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I told my husband too, I said, listen, if there's another miscarriage, I'm not getting pregnant again. Fuck that shit. Like, I got two beautiful girls. I don't really need another pregnancy. Only reason I came up with this whole pregnancy thing in the first place was, my reaction to the war and stuff, which I know it could be a beautiful thing, but also it made me realize like I was accepting defeat before it even like showed up at my door, if it's even gonna show up at my door, based on what this motherfucking doctor told me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Look.
it's been, I admit that I did a lot better than would have done in the past
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because I still was just like, thank you, God, thank you, God, thank you, God. What is the message here? What am I supposed to do? Maybe if I'm not supposed to have this baby, I get it. Like I have a mission in this world, and maybe the baby is not, is a distraction from everything that I'm supposed to have. However, then I went back and I was like, nah, fuck that. I was like, God, can you please keep my baby safe? Can you
Mm-hmm.
keep me safe? Keep this baby safe. Bring this baby to life and make my baby live a long life as well as the mother. You
Mm-hmm.
know, please continue. And then it made me think about my other girls. Like, please continue to keep my girls safe and alive and happy and keep my family united because there's nothing we could do. We can't do without you. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, them negative
Yeah.
thoughts be
Mm-hmm.
trying to creep in over and over and over. So
So,
I feel like it was the first time that I did so well because I kept just saying thank you.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
That like I'm not admitting defeat, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
thanking you for what I already have.
Mm-hmm.
That if this is for real not your will for me to have a baby, thank you for my two beautiful girls. Thank you for my husband. Thank you for this life. And then, I'm like, but if you still making a decision, if this is the decision, if I'm having this baby, please keep this baby safe. Please keep this baby alive. Like, I would much rather not go through, I didn't
Mm-hmm.
even think about that part, to not go through nothing. I was just like, thank you, because it
Yeah.
was the only way I could survive the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 You know, I am sending love and hugs and prayers your way. Number one. Number two,
If I cry, which I am right
gonna,
now.
yeah. Number two, I'm going to be like, get another doctor, right?
I said that this morning to my husband. I
Yeah.
said, I think I need to get another doctor because
Hmm.
I don't want him fucking up my whole pregnancy with these negative thoughts.
Yeah. And number one, I'm like, women have been having babies like I don't even know how old I was let's see, 15, let's see, my girls are 15 and 16. And so what am I, 50? That's that like I was about 35, 37, somewhere right about
My
there when I had
mom had babies in her 40s and
yeah,
my dad's wife now. And I'm like, what is up with this lifestyle out here that they try to discourage you at a young, like
yeah, like no, like you waited and you're like and you're healthy, you're eating health, like all you're doing all the things, right? You're doing all the things. And so if it's this early on, so going back to when you just know good and you feel good, when that negativity comes your way, I am just like, soon as I like, I can feel it, like it's almost like a little breeze. I'll be like, whoa, no, block, like I don't want it. I don't, if you got anything, and it's not living in a fantasy world in a sense that, you're just kind of like la 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 la. No, it's about having that positive mindset, that positive attitude. And if your team, because your doctor is on your team, and if you
Right.
explain to him exactly what you need and what you want, when I go to the doctors and I sit down and I talk to them and I go, look, I suck at doing my blood pressure. It's like I can sit here and I'm calm and I'm fine. As soon as you put that little cuff on and you hit that little button, it goes, "Rang." All of a sudden my heart goes do, 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 do. And I can't breathe properly, even though I teach fitness and I know how to breathe and calm myself down and all that stuff. But when it comes to that little machine, I lose everything. And so I let them know, like, oh, I'm gonna try to relax, but this is me. And you showed him and you told him what you needed. And he had a disregard for that, right? That's number one. Like he didn't listen to you and listen to what you needed. And that was like physical therapy with my arm, right? I went in, and because I'm a believer, I went in and I was like, oh, I went to church and they prayed over my arm, and like I was getting better, and I was like, and then they prayed over my arm, and I felt like that like supercharged everything, and I was able to lift my arm up, and I was like, yes. And I feel like ego got in the way,
Hmm.
that he started projecting negativity towards me, that I actually started to decline and got worse than what I was when I first went in. And I was like, oop, nope, I'm done with you. I cannot. And he was already ready to send me to the orthopedic surgeon and all this other stuff. And I'm like, no, I don't feel like we've done all that we can do to get me healthy.
Right.
And I found another physical therapist, and I told him, hey, this is what happened. This is what I believe, da 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 da. And he goes, you know what? We're trained to be able to listen to our patients and see what they want and how do they want their treatment, right? Because ultimately that's what it boils down. It doesn't matter what you believe or if you don't believe. I'm not saying that you got to, you know, pray with me before we get started. I'm not saying that you have to do that, but respect my wishes as your client, as your patient. And so I'm doing much better with my arm, and I'm not trying to compare your pregnancy to my arm, but really what I want
You know when it comes to you,
yeah,
I know
yeah,
you well enough, you
yeah,
know?
right. Yes. And so what I'm saying is that if you feel any, and what happens is we feel that negativity, we feel that that little, and it can be just ever so slight, like a little breeze. And what do? We go, oh, that was nothing. And we push it away, and we talk ourselves into going down a path with a person that we should not be going down this path with. And for whatever reason, I say this is a flag that
It was
was,
two flags before that.
oh, it's two flags before that. Oh,
See,
okay.
I love you so much,
Mhm.
because so sometimes my first judgment of somebody is not right. I've been
Mm,
learning that,
mhm,
like they come in with their 100% selves the first time, and then
mhm,
afterwards they be on some bullshit.
mhm,
So there was several things when I first walked into the office, right? It was this rinky-dink office, like one of them old ass offices. You know what I'm talking about? Now
mhm,
I know real estate out here,
mhm,
okay? And
mhm,
if you're really about something, if you're really making some money like that, like you can afford a better place than this. And he was supposed to be one of the greatest doctors. However, I heard this by somebody else who I'm still not sure who they are yet.
mhm.
What we talk about. Hmm. Go ahead. Call me when you're ready. So that was one. Okay. Then they said come 30 minutes before time. I'm 30 minutes early. This other woman is there too. And the doors are locked. And she told me, she said, this is the third time that I've come here. And she said, my appointment was at 1:15. My appointment was at 1:30. We were both there at 1. And
Mhm.
we're sitting there, and it was like 1:20 before they opened the door.
Look, don't have me showing up early if you're not even in here or want to open the door.
1 second. Lenore, can you help Leon, please? Thank you. That was that was number two. And as this happened, I picked up my phone to go look for a different doctor
Mm-hmm.
before I even saw him.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the appointment was over and he said, I want to see you in a week, I go to schedule another appointment and the window is closed and she's on the phone and there's somebody waiting and there's me. And they
Mm-hmm.
brought two people in before me. Mind
Mm-hmm.
you, by the time they opened the door, it was almost my appointment time.
Mm-hmm.
Give her the tissue. So there was several things. And what I found too, and like it made me start thinking if I was being too cocky. You and I have been talking a lot about, things that we've been doing, great things that we've been doing,
Yeah.
and how we see God and faith and all of that stuff. And I have this big vision, and I really believe that like we're educated from a young age to start feeling like we can't have those big things.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
And
that's the enemy
so,
talking.
right? And so, yesterday he started making me think, I'm sorry, sorry. But yeah, he had me like I was sitting there thinking like, is this God telling me that I need to humble myself a little bit more, to get back into simplicity and not that I can't have those big things, but like maybe my head was too big, like
Yeah.
and
No.
this didn't have nothing to do with him at this point. This was me just sitting there like evaluating myself and making sure that I'm doing, that I'm still on the right path, that I'm not letting this whole retirement life, this blissfulness, this sense of calm get to my head like I'm better than everybody else, because
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know if we were last conversation or last week. I feel like the devil been chasing after me so hard. Just everybody, the close people to me bringing drama into my life to the point where I left my family group. I hung up the phone on one of my friends because I'm like, I just can't deal with this no more. This is like, I'm here trying to change generations. I'm here trying to give us a new start, give my kids a new when I'm no longer here, that they have a whole empire at their disposal, and I feel like the devil is coming in so many shades of people just trying to bog me down. And
Mm-hmm.
so it just had me rethinking like, okay, am I doing this wrong? Am I looking down on these people? You get what I mean? Like, I don't
And
feel like I am. I feel like I am like holding on for dear life to just
mm-hmm.
be in peace.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
this stuff just keep popping up, all of this negativity that don't even belong to me.
Yeah. And that's what's going to happen. I feel like it's just like when you are starting a diet. Day one, you're like, I'm not going to eat this. I'm not going here. Da 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 da. And then what happened? You get invited to a party. Someone shows up with this, and you're like, dang, like,
Right.
man, like you declared it, and then it's just like everything is just in. It's like, oh, she's she made a declaration, shoom, shoom, and everything is coming at you, right? Like it just knows. And so sometimes it's just like you gotta, they say, move in silence, kind of thing. Like I was about to tell Mark something. I was like, oh, I'm not going to do this. And then as soon as I feel like I declare it, then that's when all of the stuff
Everything
comes.
down.
And so I'm just like, he was like, what? And I was like, nothing. I was like, nothing. And so because I'm like, I'm back on my health, when I say on my health journey, not being restrictive, but really being mindful of a thing because the holidays are here. When like these last 3 months, you show up, there's candy somewhere, there's chocolate, something, there's like all the things that you shouldn't be eating somewhere. And then, oh, out and about, you pick up a few things and you put it in your cart. So today when we went shopping, he was like, "You want that?" I kept looking, I was like, and I was like, "Nope." And then I was like walking, but I didn't tell him why I
Okay.
didn't, because that right there, then it's just like, oh, now I can almost kind of like justify why I'm going to get it. Or he was just like, oh, because then people like, oh, come on, you can do it. But if I keep it to myself, there's no back and forth with anybody
Right.
else, but me. And and so I say that to say that when you know peace, every little thing, things that might not have mattered to you before, like how long have you been part of your family group chat, right? It might
Forever.
not like you probably not even noticed it. It was just who your family is. But now when you get to a place where it's just quiet,
Mm.
the I think about the fire alarm, smoke detector, that chirp. It could just be like chirp. It just sounds so loud. Whereas when you have a house full of people and if it went chirp, you could barely hear it. But when you get quiet and still, which is what you've done,
Everything.
it's just like bong, like it feels like that towards you. And just to know that you're more sensitive to those things that are
Okay, if you're gonna sit here, you gotta be quiet. Your head hurt. Okay, come sit on my lap. But you gotta be quiet, okay? Okay?
so so those are the things, and it's always good to go introspective because it's just like because every time something happens to me, I
Mm-hmm.
always say, is this happening for me? And is there something that I need to learn from this God? Like, what do you need me to learn? And so you start evaluating, like, am I doing this? Am I doing this? Da, 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 da. And that's a good quality to have. But then you have to go back to like, okay, wait a minute, Lord, like, where have you brought me from? I feel like you have me in this place for a reason. I'm not here by accident, right? I'm here because I'm supposed to be here. And now in this moment, is the doctor going to cause you stress? Is your family going to cause you stress? All of the things that you don't need for this pregnancy, right? And how it affects the mind and how it affects the body, right? How do you continue to have that grateful heart, right? Throughout everything. And and you just have again, you have this gratitude, right? When you experience loss and you know that there's a potential, for it, you just your mindset, and it's just like, okay, I'm not saying it's a test, but it's just like, well, if there's possibilities there, how are you going to react? How are you acting? How are you responding to the situation? And you're responding with gratitude. Like that's like the best thing that you can do. That is the best thing that you can do for yourself, for your family, right? And for your mental space and for your body, for the baby, all
Mm-hmm.
of that stuff, right? And so being in that, but then it's just like, and I'm just like, the first thing I'm thinking, like, soon as you said the doctor said that, I was like, let me hold my tongue. Let me
I
listen
saw,
a little
I saw all on your face too. You know, talking to you is like talking to myself because
bit.
if it was me on the other side and somebody was talking to me, that would be the first thing I tell them is get yourself another doctor,
Mhm.
you know? And I did. I woke up this morning, I told my husband, I was like, I'm gonna get another doctor, but I put it on him, which was ignorant. You know, it wasn't ignorant, it was like the easy way out. You
Mhm.
know, and I told him, I said, because my husband don't feel comfortable with a man, you know.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
so So in
Hmm.
my mind, I was like, okay, that's the easiest way to get out of this is like, you know, I want my husband there every step of the way. And
Hmm.
he actually wants to be there, you know? But the moment we got there and it was a man, it changed the whole feel of it.
Well, see, that might been a whole thing from here, but you're still going. I remember I said you're going down this path, and it's just
And
like there was something.
yeah,
Hmm.
my lesson though, you're right, because when I had the miscarriage and I went to the doctors for a checkup,
Hmm.
my husband wasn't with me, and I had the girls. I don't remember where he was, but I didn't have nobody to watch the girls. So the girls were with me, and it was a male doctor. And
Hmm.
I was like, listen here, you're gonna have to get one of them nurses to take my girls out and watch them because I don't want them from a young age feeling like that this is okay. So
Hmm.
it was like it started
Hmm.
all the way in Oregon before I
Hmm.
even got here. And
Yeah.
on the way to the doctors, like I was thinking it, it was in my head.
Hmm. Yeah.
But like you said, like we get so I feel like our past lives of we get so comfortable with discomfort,
Hmm.
that we forget that one, we have great senses,
Hmm.
and two, that we have a choice. Like it's like people interview us all the time,
Hmm.
all the time.
Hmm.
So why are we not interviewing these doctors? And I have been. I have
Hmm.
interviewed every doctor before I've
Hmm.
taken my kids to the doctors ever since Lenore turned a certain age. Because I was my godmom told me that. She said, "Girl, you better interview them doctors. You paying them. You don't
Hmm.
have to go to them."
Exactly.
But this was the one doctor that I did not interview.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I thought that I liked him because his first message when I met him was that your body already knows how to do this. You don't need me,
Hmm.
and it was like that was all I heard from him. That was all I've seen of him, and I was like, okay, cool. I like him. He's down to earth, and he believes in our body and what our bodies could do. But then there was another thing he said to me that really got me.
Hmm.
And I said, why am I like, how is it that I'm this big, if there's nothing? And he told me, oh, that's not the baby. But it was the way he was telling me about it.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at him like, you ugly motherfucker. Who
Hmm.
the hell are you? Like,
Hmm.
and not to say that this is not, extra fat or anything. But again, like I've watched my godmom, I mean my dad's wife, I've watched my mom. I've had a lot of women in my life that after so many babies, they instantly, you know,
Just.
just
Hmm.
get big when as soon as they found out they're pregnant. And I
Hmm.
did some research and it said that if you had a miscarriage and then you get pregnant a couple months later, that because your body was already preparing for a baby, that that it's already there pretty much.
Hmm.
All your muscles and everything are just ready for the baby and it just,
It just
pop
does what
out.
you do. Yeah. And this is the thing. Once you've gotten bigger, even with just with weight, right? I always explain it as balloons that
Mhm,
are just basically fat pockets on your body. So the body creates these fat pockets to store energy in there. And what happens is as you lose weight, the balloons deflate,
mhm,
right? They deflate. But as soon as you either go back to an old eating pattern or anything like that, or whatever that is, it's like the balloons they go they blow up real quick because the balloons never go away.
right.
And so once I learned that, then it's just like, oh, this is why they always say, oh, I blew up, right? It's those fat pockets that just goes shroop. And this, what is it doing? It's storing energy for you and the baby. Like it makes common sense, like what the body is doing,
Mhm,
right? It makes common sense what the body is doing. And so if the body's just like, oh, this is what I need to do, and I need to store this, then it's going to store everything that you're going to need for the next 9 months, right? And so, um,
and I
again,
was starving too.
mm-hmm,
It's not like I don't normally eat like this.
mm-hmm,
Natasha, I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't sleep because I'm so hungry.
yeah. And
You
you're
know?
eating. and this is the other thing, you've changed your eating habits because you went vegan, right? And so it's going to require probably more calories.
Mm-hmm.
Things that satiated just you was enough, but now your body is working. You got to have enough calories in to digest your food,
Mm-hmm.
link for your heart to work, like all of these things. And now you add the baby in, and to grow a baby, like now your body's like do 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 do, like it's going, and so you need those calories in order to grow a baby. Like it just you got to put stuff in. And so your body's telling you, it's just like when you're craving it, your body's saying, I need more nutrients. And so if you're not getting meat or, the protein, and so your body's like, I need more, I need more, I need more. And it's pulling probably everything out of what you're eating and just storing it and storing it. So
Yeah,
that's what.
I've been having my vitamins, because I order them from you.
Hmm.
By the way, this woman has the best dietary supplements and other beautician or health things. So please reach
Hmm.
out to her for anything you need. When I post this link, I'm gonna have to post. When I post a video, I'm gonna have to post links for your store too, so
Okay.
people can look for your stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but even the stuff I've been eating, it ain't like I've been eating junk. You know, no
Hmm.
joke. I made a meatloaf yesterday. Like
Hmm.
no, 3 days ago. I
Hmm.
made a meatloaf. My husband, he baked some eggplant for me. And for like 3 days straight, I had meatloaf sandwiches, but I put it on tortilla because I'm trying not to eat too much bread because
Hmm.
I want to prevent the same issues that I had with my other pregnancies with my hands swelling up. And I
Hmm.
can say that so far I feel like I've been doing incredible,
Hmm. Yeah.
I haven't had no dairy.
Hmm.
I barely been eating flour
Hmm.
except for the tortillas, but even that, like, I try not to do as much.
Hmm.
So yeah, and I'm just looking at. Oh, thank you for. I'm so happy we changed the topic because
Hmm.
now I'm looking at him and stuff. I'm like, do I really want that looking down at me, down there at me for the next 9 months? Hell
Yeah. And
no.
so, yeah. And then to give that, it goes back to what's going to bring peace, not just to you, but to your family unit, right? If your husband had this kind of feeling, now
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, how do you honor and respect him and his feelings, right? As well. And so then, because every time you go to the doctor, I'm sure this is
Yep.
lingering in the back of your head. So that can't be good for like you as well. So yeah,
And I've been
again.
working really hard in the past like couple years, but especially, I don't say really hard. I've been consistent with trying to be aware of how my husband feel and make sure that he knows that he's important because I don't believe I did that in the past. I was so used to being single and doing what Ellie Shama want that it was really hard to see things from his perspective.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky with the fact that it's not like he'd be like, you can't do this or you can't do that. He ain't never gonna tell me you can't
Hmm.
go see this doctor. He gonna tell me how he feel. He gonna explain things the way you explain, like, what if I went to a female doctor and she had to check my nut status and like do this and do that, which he did. He told me all of this. I said, well, she a doc, in the moment I had an answer for him.
Hmm.
But in my heart, it goes against everything that, I've been working on in the last 2, 3 years, which is that I want to be more united with my husband and my kids. And I can't do that if I have somebody from the outside. I don't give a damn what your credentials are trying to come in, and make us feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Again, the devil is dressed in so many different outfits, so many
Yep.
outfits, and he has been chasing the hell out of me these
Hmm.
last couple weeks.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I think that's huge what you just talked about, which is you can it's it goes beyond even this, right? It's just like your family unit. And like you said, that piece is if not there, if the devil can't get to you, what's the next thing it's gonna go for? Your family,
Right?
right? And so that's where you have to continually work and pray over your family, protect, like all of those things, and just knowing, like, all right, am I giving the devil a, like, did I leave a crack open for the devil to get his toe into the door,
I sure did.
right? So those are the things that, um, yeah, I I ask myself these things as well as, with my, I'm like, no, I don't want to leave any cracks. I want to shut the door. If I feel a breeze coming, like, nope, let me close it. And it's just like, can I, yeah, I can do whatever I want to do. We would have that I do. I can do whatever I want to do, but then is it the best thing for everyone in my family, right?
It ruined the whole, I was so excited. I
Mm-hmm.
was looking forward to taking the girls with me. I'm like, this is not my baby. This is our baby,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And then when he walked in, it clicked because I thought it was gonna be like a belly one, where
Mm-hmm.
they do the ultrasound with your belly.
Yeah.
And he said, no, we're gonna do the vaginal one. And
Mm-hmm.
so it just, so then the kids had to leave, which meant that my husband had to be with them because you know us, we're not leaving our kids by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So it meant that my husband had to leave too. Even though like he wanted to leave, he didn't want to be there, watching another
Mm-hmm.
man do whatever he's gonna do.
Yeah.
But it made it to where he didn't even have a choice. And it was like a domino effect, like doom, 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 doom,
Mhm.
just, you know?
Yeah.
And then
Mm-hmm.
after that, he made me feel worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the thing that I was questioning like the whole being cocky and everything because I told you I had a dream. We're talking about this whole being a prophet thing, right? And I told you I had a dream about this miscarriage thing. And I believe that it was in relation to the guy here who is partners with my husband with the goats, right? And I called him. My husband told me, he was like, call them and tell them what you went through and everything to give them, some hope. So I called him and I told him, I said, yeah, I went through a miscarriage too, and now I'm pregnant again. Like it could happen again. And then I also talked to another woman who I saw, I think I told you about this. I saw a social media post saying she was pregnant. And I told her, I was like, congratulations, on the pregnancy. She said, I'm not pregnant. Remember I told you this? She said, I'm not pregnant. What you talking about? And then 2 weeks later, she told me she was pregnant, but then
Mm-hmm.
she lost the baby. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was scared to tell her about my pregnancy because I didn't want to rub it in or anything. But then I also felt like I wasn't being a good friend if I'm hiding something good from her. Like
Yeah.
I feel like if you're a good friend,
Mm-hmm.
that you wouldn't want me to hide anything from you, especially not good things. And
Mm-hmm.
so I ended up calling her, I think it was yesterday, either yesterday or the day before yesterday. And I told her about me being pregnant and everything, and I was so confident, and then it just had me second guessing, like, damn, what if I told all of these people to look forward to good things, and here I am, about to have you
Mm-hmm.
you get what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, um, it's like, just keep
Like
on
I felt like
keeping
I
up.
was speaking life into these people,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
then, people like to see bad experience. You get what I mean? It's like if you try to tell somebody, oh, if you do this, you'll be successful, but yet you working at McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you say, hey, do this and you'll be successful, you living in a mansion and you flying all over the world, they're more likely to believe you. So it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like that type of situation. Like, here it
Mm-hmm.
is, I'm talking to them.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's just like, as you're talking and you're sharing, that it goes back to that feeling, or as you're sharing, again, where was your heart? Right? Because I don't think when you were talking to any of those women that you were in a cocky place,
It
right?
definitely was not.
And so it wasn't coming from a place of that. It was coming from a place of hope, right? And so again, I understand. I like I've been through two miscarriages and it was not easy. And when I got pregnant with Jakayla, every moment I just kept thanking God, thank you. Thank you. I made it another day. Oop, I made it to the first appointment. I made it to this. I made like it just, I mean, I just had so much gratitude throughout that entire pregnancy
Mm.
because it was just like you are in control. You're in control and whatever it is that you have for me to do. But what I have learned, and this is what I have said, what I have learned, because I went through those miscarriages, I always go back to every person that has experienced at least one miscarriage, and I say, hey, did you get your um, progesterone levels checked? Because I was on birth control for so many years, the Depo-Provera, for so many years, and just forcing my body to do something that it didn't want to do, right? And I feel like that is one of the reasons that I went through that. And so my body wouldn't recognize that it was pregnant. So I had to now I have to counter that. Now I have to go and take additional medication to say, no, I'm pregnant because the hormones weren't there to recognize that I was pregnant. And so that's always been the thing that I have shared with people is like, get your progesterone levels checked. After you get your progesterone levels checked, just to make sure and you get, past that hump or whatever that is because, again, I don't know your history. I don't know all the
I
things that
did.
you.
I got him checked. When I
Hmm.
first found out I was pregnant, I got it checked because I was like, I'm not, if I don't have to go through this because of
Hmm.
something that I didn't know, but
Yeah.
now I know. I'm
Yeah.
not,
Hmm.
so I did. I got him checked.
Hmm.
And yeah,
Yeah.
everything looked, my
It's
counts are
good,
really
right?
high.
And so, and then it's just like, and again, pass that information on to people. And then it's just like, okay, someone can give you some bad news, and but does that mean that it's true? Do you keep,
Right.
you keep hope alive until God says otherwise, right?
And I mean, the doctor did say, he said, I'm not saying it's nothing bad. I'm saying let's come back in a week and check. But still,
Hmm.
like it,
Hmm. But just the way his delivery, it just it put doubt into your mind, and
yeah.
that was not needed. His delivery was not good, no pun intended. But but that's the thing. I would, there's something there. There's flags that are there that's probably telling you like he's just not the person for you for the long run,
Mm.
you know. And
You
so,
know, the more it's like now when I'm looking back at it, it's kind of like how I took my kids to their first doctor's appointment here, and it was the most traumatic experience of all of our lives.
mm,
We get there, okay, and again, these red flags that I just ignored. We get to the clinic, and there's a guard there.
oh,
Like,
okay.
then he says, "You can't have your bottle in here. You can't have no food in here." And it was just one thing after another. And I'm like, seems more like a prison than a clinic.
Hmm.
And I asked him, I said, "Are all the clinics like this?" He said, "I don't know. I just work at this one." And to me, like, that's also a red flag. Because I don't know nobody who just always, if you that old and you only ever worked at this place,
Hmm.
you know? And then it was so traumatic. It
Hmm.
was bad. And I feel like I traumatized my kids because then
Hmm.
Leon had to get her vaccinations. And they normally try to do it real fast. This guy was so slow, which meant she had to experience it in slow motion. It wasn't no kid stuff hanging up. Like it was all
Hmm.
bad. And it was like, again,
Hmm.
another lesson to like take my time, read the clues, that, and I called, I interviewed, how is this doctor? What does he believe in? But it wasn't even a doctor. It was his
Hmm.
assistant. It was
Hmm.
the location, And again, not that I'm any better than any of these people. I'm just at a different place in my life, you know? I'm not looking down at them, but this is not for me. When I
Mm-hmm.
went into this gynecologist's office, it was just, you know, even the clientele that was in there, I was like, these are not people that I would ever be in the same room with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And
Yep.
again, like not talking down on nobody, everybody go through their own journey,
Yeah.
but I would never, like, you wouldn't see me in the same room with them unless like I was mentoring them on something which we already talked about how there's the right people to mentor too, the right people who gonna hear what I gotta say. And I can tell you right now that at least 99% of those people were not the people that would be ready for what it is that I gotta talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So the bigger picture, have gratitude,
Mhm,
listen to your senses. Don't push those feelings away. Explore them, lean into them, and see what they really, really mean.
mhm,
And, and if you have to find a new doctor, find a new friend, find a new job, like whatever that is that's telling you don't go down that path, don't
mhm,
ignore
right.
it. Hmm. Yeah.
This is
So,
really good. I feel like I just like unloaded all of whatever was left, which it wasn't that much left, I'll be honest. Like I'd already, you know, talked it away, most of it. But you know, if you leave even 0.001% in there, it will fester like crazy. So
mm-hmm.
thank you for relieving me of that last, point of a fracture that was left in me and helping me with knowing what my next steps are as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, by the way, this is Latasha from Hip Hop Hits from uh, Cardio
Cardio.
Fitness.
Mhm.
Also, she's a mentor. She teaches people whatever it is you need in life right then and there. It could be for life, for health, for business. This
Mhm.
woman is the woman. This is the woman
Thank
for it
you.
all.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, so I'm very appreciative to have you as my girlfriend, as you would.
Old friend.
Yeah, I think that's so awesome. I love it.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, thank you.
Yep, this is really good. And thank you for sharing and being so vulnerable and open because I know that a lot of times when women, when we go through things, we do keep it hush hush and no one really shares about their experiences, the good and, the bad thing. But how do you navigate through that? And that was, how do you still have gratitude through all of this, which was the question that you came out with. And it's really evaluating the situation that you're in. And when you look how far you've come, to where you are now, it's easy to have that gratitude because it's just like if this is all that I have, I'm thankful for it. I'm blessed and thankful for that. And it's just like, and it's not to say that you shouldn't want more because you should want more, right? You want more and just having a positive mindset. And so I thank you for putting together this series. I know that each woman that you are talking to, they are fabulous,
Right.
because and I just can't wait for you to start posting the videos and again because everything that you do is authentic. It is authentic Ellie Shama. What you see is what you get. There's no fluff and it it is what it is. And that's what I love about you. You have been you since day one of me being on the phone with you. And you're like, I don't know. And I'm like, no, you be you. And you have just stepped into that and owned your uniqueness because there's no other Ellie Shama out there. No,
Right.
none but the ones.
Uh, I want to say this. You have been the first person. It's like you paved the way for the right people to come along. Does that make sense? Before you, anybody who came along was a
Hmm.
baby. But since meeting you, it's like you came in and all my senses got sharpened. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like how I see people, how I view people. It was always there, but sometimes you need somebody to remind you that, like, you know what you're doing, just keep doing it. And that's what you have done for me. And you also, by doing that, is you give me the credit that I deserve by saying that nobody could do this but you, but also allow me to give you the credit back for knowing what you have been in my life. And I think that is the most beautiful thing in the world because I never have to worry about no, you still in the spotlight from me or me still in the spotlight from you feeling like I'm still in the spotlight from you. Like we know how incredible each of us are, how unique each of us are. And it makes this friendship so much more.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank you because like how you said, us women, we keep things so hush hush. This is a topic that I want all my videos to be able to help people. And when I say live your retirement life now, it hits on so many topics. And this is one like you can't possibly be living in happiness, which to me is retirement, is living in happiness way more often, like, as often as you can, at every moment of the day, if you can. And how do you do that? When you have something as heavy as this going on, which happens to a lot of women in the world, what they say, like a third of the women in the world have miscarriages.
Yeah.
So how do we bond over this? How do we help other women out? And just by saying check your progesterone, check
Mhm.
your progesterone, live in your thankfulness, look around and see what you already have. That way you're dwelling on the happy things and you're not getting stuck on the sad things that make you hurt yourself or hurt your baby even more.
Mhm.
So at the end of all of this, I'm gonna be authentically me and say, fuck that doctor. Fuck him and his ugly ass. Okay. Because he is ugly. I get very, very childish when I decide that you suck.
All right, so maybe that's something that you have to work on.
One day. Not today.
Not today. You're like, not today.
One
Today,
day. We will
feeling
work
all the
on that.
feel.
And
Yes,
thankfully
feel
my
all the
baby is
feel.
asleep. But other than that, I am so thankful to God for giving me this life, for giving me these people, and you know, thank you. I
All
think
right.
we did some.
All righty.
Okay. Okay. Bye.
Perfect timing. That was
Right?
good. 1:44 because I gotta jet off to my next appointment. So,
My husband about to walk in, so that definitely was perfect timing. Okay. Talk
all
to
right. I
you.
love you.
Love you
All right.
too.
Bye.